And we're back.
Back for the first time? No, back for the fourth time. I'm
Back to the
Ace,
future.
and this is Cross Culture. You guys already know me, know who I am, know what I do. But I'm gonna let my co-host introduce himself.
This is your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of our podcast. And today the podcast will have its own name. And it's, yeah, a true introduction to what we're doing here. This is the fourth one. And yeah, we're looking forward to having some fun with it, as always.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So you want to go ahead and give him the name because I know that you did the poll on your Instagram. I'm sorry for all those who wanted to do it on my end.
Mm.
I just wasn't able to get the poll out there, but we did get a name decided. So you want to go
Okay.
ahead and let them know?
Well, we give them some background first of all. So what had happened was we had three good names. It was Walk and Talk. There was Atas, Across Time and
Atas.
Space. And there was the podcast with a name.
Yes,
And
yes, yes, yes.
and I really, really liked the podcast with a name. Podcast with a name, not the podcast. Podcast with a name.
Podcast with a name. Yeah.
In fact, I wanted to add one more piece onto it, like the title and then the subtitle, podcast with a name. But you know,
Mm.
the search word, for SEO, when you're looking for this podcast, how can you find it? One word, nadataru. Nadataru.
Oh,
Nadataru
okay.
means famous, but if you look at the kanji for it, it's name stand. So you stand on this name, right?
Oh, okay.
And it seemed to embody what podcast with a name means, Nadataru,
Mm.
podcast with a name. It's almost like a translation of it. But that wasn't the one that everyone decided was best, which it caused a lot of conflict in my heart. Speaking of some of the benefactors and benevolent folks out there, they would say that you want a podcast people can find
Mm.
if they're looking on Google and they want to find something about that topic. Okay, go with that. You know, so the name shouldn't be more than 4 words or so. Other content creators said no more than 3-4 words, and inside those 3 to 4 words, one of them at least should be related to what you're um, speaking about.
Okay.
So yeah. Um, at the end of the day, the one that got the most votes, the one that said it had the best ring was Atas, Across Time and Space.
Atas.
Mm.
Yeah.
Across Time and Space. So, yes, it is related to what we're talking about. I don't know if you want to say Across Time and Space for your side of the podcast, and then across space and time from my side of the podcast. I don't know. Like the reverse. I don't know. We
Yeah.
can cover both, but yeah, either one is fine. Time and space sounds good to me. I really like the name. It does roll off the tongue well. In Japanese, across time and space. It's the same thing, you know.
Yeah. But it's not
Ah,
so much.
ta, ah, atas. Yeah, atas. That's easy to say. That's easy to say. So yeah, we can do that. We can do that. I just wish somebody would have said a podcast with a name. If you had one more over there, not
I
a
mean,
title.
if it makes you feel better, I really do like that. Especially how we were talking about it last week. It's like the the
Mm,
connotation is basically like the podcast that spawned a name for itself. You
mm-hmm,
know, it was there and then it was named type
mm-hmm,
thing. I really do like that concept. But across time and space, I feel like it doesn't tie us down too much.
mm,
But it kind of says what we're doing. It's ambiguous enough, but
mm.
specific enough. I feel like it has a nice balance to it.
Well, hold on. So people, hold on. I'm not reneging, as they call it, but
Are you trying
um,
to trying to pick it
but
back?
we didn't vote,
We
right?
didn't.
Remember, it was
No.
supposed to be 3, 2, and 1 point for
Yeah,
it. Um,
it's true.
I mean, that's my honest thing. Is that Narataru would get 3 for me. Narataru would get 3. Atas would get a strong 2, and then 1 for walk and talk. And as easy as walk and talk is to say it, I mean, it's like a little brainchild. It's just walk and talk. You can walk and talk with anybody, anytime. But Narataru, I keep saying Narataru, because that's just easy to find. That's a word by itself, but it wasn't, Narataru podcast with a name. Narataru podcast with a name. It's 5 words, if you don't count then it's like 4 giri,
But then it's kind of against the whole, 4 word. In Japanese, it's like 4 characters, 4 words. It's short, concise,
podcast
and full of
name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if Narataru was on there, I don't know how you feel about Narataru. Like that wasn't part of the thing.
I like it. I mean, the whole concept behind it, I love. So if I had to vote, I mean, I'm more partial to Atas because it's my brainchild. So that's getting my 3. I actually like walk and talk. Was it walk and talk or talk and walk? Yeah, for my 2.
Walk and talk.
Walk and talk. Only because it's like active, So I really do like that. And I guess by default my 3rd, podcast with the name, but it's kind of like it's like right there,
Yeah. But, like that would score podcast with a name at 4 points, and walk and talk would then have 3 points, and nobody voted for walk and talk, as cool as it sounds. And then I mean, outsiders or the fans, you guys get 1 point. All right. And for some reason on Instagram, you get like 50 people looking at the same thing, but only one person says, "Hey, I like the second one." So you got 1 point there. So that's 2, 3, 1. That's 6 for Atas. So that's gonna have to be it. I mean, just to make sure that nobody else, chimed in at the last minute.
Oh, go check it.
Yeah. We're getting live results. In fact, I'll show you how it looked if I can.
Can you?
Yeah, actually, like I did a poll, but it was in like my story. I didn't just leave it on the page. And yeah. Story. Okay. Oh, wait, the story's gone.
The story's only stayed 24 hours.
Right. So short and sweet. But then that was posted to it's posted to Facebook. Right.
Oh, so it's linked too.
Right. So anybody on Facebook could have said something. You could have said something, and I would have, given that. Yeah, 40 people. And I got 40 people. Mad love, thumbs up. Thumbs up what? Like what? How do you feel about it? I just got thumbs up. Which is cool. Thank you, everyone who looked at it, but I wanted to know what you thought. So this is how it looked. Oh, whoa, that was fast.
Gone.
I want to make sure I don't.
Got to keep your finger on it.
Put anybody on blast here. Yeah. So, chance to vote. All right, in Japanese and in English. What's the best name for our podcast? And Walk and Talk number 1, and 2 Across Time and Space, and 3 Podcast with a Name. Right? And all you got to do is type in.
Adjusting a little bit.
Type in the number 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, okay.
Hit me up. Hit me up in the comment section. That's all you had to do. And nope, everybody just looked and said, "Oh, okay." Feeling timid.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
But now we have the name. So
we have the name.
Going forward, we are Atas.
Atas. Oh, that was right on time. Atas. Oh yeah. Can the name be changed like during the
Can the name be
podcast? I
changed?
probably shouldn't.
No.
That'd be confusing.
So
misdirection.
The next podcast, which would be number 5, it's good that we got at least under 10. We have a name.
Yeah.
The next podcast will be called Atas, and because now we have a name, we can try to look into getting it audio only, so that people can actually find it. But until then, yeah, we're gonna do the whole Anchor thing and see how many places we can get it out to, so that everybody out there can walk and talk and listen to our podcast with a name.
Yeah.
That is Atas.
It's about how it sounds, It's not, it really doesn't come down to looking at us, staring us in the face. No, think about the concepts. Walk and talk. Get on your feet. That's not the name of the podcast, but that's what it's about. No. We moving across time and space.
Cross time and space.
All right.
Yes.
I'm gonna sneak in that those names, those concepts. All right. That's what we're about.
I already hit all 3. You didn't hear it?
Huh? Whoa! Just now?
You didn't hear it? Oh yeah. I was like, well, you can walk and talk and listen to the podcast with a name that is now Atas.
That was pretty clever. You didn't have to explain it just now. You just, repeated yourself. That's good enough. That's good enough. Don't.
Okay. So for those of you who may not have joined us last week, or maybe this is your first time joining us, we're talking about the book A Beautiful Struggle by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And this book is very provocative, thought-provoking. It talks a lot about the Black experience in America. We got this young kid who lives in Maryland, and he's encountering all these different things. Now, this is, I think he was born in the 70s. He had to have been, right?
Yes.
Yeah, late 70s. Yes. This guy. Late 70s. I know that we're discussing chapter 4. In chapter 4, I finally get like solid dates. And I feel like the author leaves some of these things out on purpose so that you're not so hung up on the setting so much, but more the content. So, I mean, I could have glazed over it before, but I am only listening to the audio. If I had it in my hand, I might be able to track it a little bit better.
Right. We're both only listening to the audio. That's an important point. It's an audio book. It's also available on paperback or any digital reader. And it's worth a good read and really to get down in there. But we're focusing on walking, talking, listening, and digesting.
Okay. So usually we throw out whoever is hosting. We're hosting back and forth. So we share the burden of responsibility, as it were. But this chapter actually takes place in 1988. Best year ever. Just saying.
No Orwellian issues that year. That's good.
Oh wow, you try to play it. It's okay. It's okay though.
No, we're facing that now.
He's in 8th grade at this time. So 8th grade, you're in the thick of adolescence. What do I do here? Who am I going to be? How do I handle myself? And even more so as an African American young boy whose father is trying to, drop knowledge on him. Not the knowledge that he wants to receive, because he says in this chapter, how can I live up to the theology of my father? So he's coming to grips with what's real to me. What can I take away from this world, and how can I gain knowledge for myself? Anything to add before we jump into these topics?
I want to talk about those topics. Let's get in it. Yeah.
All right. So I feel that everybody has done this at least once. And I'm just going to throw the question up there on, yeah,
Okay.
that one
So
thing that you begged your parents for.
yes, for those who are listening to just the audio on Anchor, or any other platform, yeah, what was the thing that you begged your parents for? When I was in eighth grade, when I was in seventh or eighth grade, middle school, hmm, what was I begging my parents for? I was about video games at the time,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was asking for, um, some kind of game, something related to maybe Ninja Turtles or something along those lines. But um, I'm going to flip the question just a little bit because I didn't have to beg my godfather for something. My godfather was, an important figure in my life when I was coming up. He was actually my uncle, um, my mother's brother, and he he asked me once, what do I want? You know, like he would get me anything if he could, and he did. But at that time, like I was thinking, I think maybe I thought like a car or something,
Oh, gosh.
uh, which is like impossible, right? Um, or then I tried to think something deep, but it was like something he couldn't just give me. So it came down to what was important at the time for people in the early '90s, and that was either a Sega Genesis or a Super Nintendo.
Oh, man.
Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo.
Oh,
That's the most important thing in the world. After things that you really can't appreciate as a child. You can't appreciate a house. You have a house already. You can't appreciate a car because you can't drive it. You know.
true.
So all right, well, yeah, it had to be Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. I'm pretty sure I asked for the Super Nintendo though.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
What? Huh?
I
What
mean,
that? Hmm.
for those who don't know, we are cousins. I know exactly who he's talking about. One thing you have to know about this guy is that he's a Nintendo fanboy. He doesn't want to admit it, but he's had like every system that Nintendo has released. But I also remember growing up, and he also had
Sure.
Sega Genesis, 32X. Like, that was just common. So to hear that
Hmm.
he sided with the Nintendo over the Sega, is just like, man, come on, why?
I'm 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 pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was Super Nintendo. But why it was Super Nintendo? It just I don't know if my mother might have been against Sega Genesis or something, or if she didn't realize what they were at the time. I don't
Hmm.
exactly know how I got my hands on the Sega Genesis. I must have asked for it somewhere around there, and it was all about Sonic. I think I remember seeing Sonic in a magazine, and I was like, "Whoa, he's better than Mario on Super Nintendo. Like he's just a plumber, right? Like who's this? It's for kids." But it's like once I got older, I think I was able to not beg but negotiate.
Negotiate. Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Oh no, you learn how to negotiate. No, mommy, give me. No. You don't beg like that. Instead, you would say something along the lines of, this is going to help me get better at computers, or this is how I connect with my friends. Everyone else in the class has it, and by participating in the game, that's going to help me to, I don't know, somehow get ahead in my miniature society. There,
Okay.
that's what I asked for. Yeah, yeah, and I waited for Christmas. It was always Santa Ma was the name of the person on the box, and the understanding was that she talked to Santa about my grades and about my behavior, and
Mm,
negotiated some presents there.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How about you? Did
Oh,
you have to beg for it?
I mean, I was pretty spoiled as a kid,
Mm,
and I kind of resent my mom for it.
mm,
Um, like there was a few things that I would mention, but not while I was a kid. Um, like the Xbox came out and mom dropped like $500 year one to make sure it had, you know, multiple controllers, multiple games, the DVD playback features, like everything.
Ooh.
But I didn't
Ooh.
ask for that.
She knew.
She knew. I mean,
How did she know?
I have no idea. I think it might have just been like, oh, this is the new thing coming out. So, I mean, I started off with a Nintendo. I don't think that you know this. I started off with Nintendo. That was the first system in my house.
What did
Nintendo,
you play?
then Genesis. Oh yeah. I had Duck Hunt and Mario Bros.
As one cartridge.
Yep.
That's the only cartridge.
That was the only cartridge I had.
That's why I didn't know. Because I wasn't going over to play Mario.
It's only in there. It's in there.
You didn't have to take it out, blow, none of that.
Nothing else. But I think maybe as far as middle school, it might have been clothes. It might have been clothes. Like, hey, I'm getting hand-me-downs from this guy, TPC Japan, and so I want some clothes of my own. You know, I want to pick my own style, not bite off somebody else's. You know, which was there was nothing wrong with it. You know, I wore those hand-me-downs with pride, but I wanted to be able to style them the way I wanted to.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, especially when people, you know, ragging on me, ranking on me, you know, you know, why your clothes looking so raggedy? And man, I got to do something about it. I think it was like clothes and especially sneakers. Like, oh my, I want some Nikes.
Right.
You know, not this Reebok and Fila stuff. I want some Nikes.
Those were not hand-me-down sneakers. All right.
Oh no,
just
no.
Disclaimer there.
No. I maybe a few pairs of sneakers but not very much.
Yeah, because I was running through sneakers like they wasn't worthy to be handed down. That's for sure.
Hand them down to the trash. No, we got to retire these.
Yeah. Speaking of retirement, you know, some of the audience may not, you know, they may have come from different neighborhoods, but something I remember about the early 80s and 90s. I don't know if people still do it, but some folks will retire those sneakers up on the phone lines there. Why? Why on earth would you put it up there? But you know, hey, why not? If you're just a little kid and thinking some way to, you know, do something mischievous and get rid of the shoes, fling them up there on the line. Now, was that they were retiring them themselves, or was it a matter of like, you know, somebody taking your shoes and flinging them up there like a bully type thing?
All right, yeah. So you didn't have the honor of growing up in the projects.
I did not.
You know,
I grew up on, you know, my neighbors were all dead.
Chill. Yeah. He lived across the street from a cemetery.
They're all, no, the cemetery is a code name for it. All right, they're all dead. 6 feet under.
YouTube going to take this down. You're going to be upset. Your mom owned a house, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. My mom did not. We lived in an apartment in the projects. Section 8 housing, you know, nothing wrong with that. Where you got to start is where you got to start. But most times, sneakers would be retired if somebody died.
Oh.
Yeah. So sometimes it was just like, oh yeah, you know, let me just fling these old sneakers up there. But more often than not, it was somebody got into something that they shouldn't have been, and they would take one of their pairs of sneakers and throw them up there. I mean, there's a whole connotation there that's different, but yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I know, you know, folks dropping like libations, you know, for someone who's passed away.
Oh yeah.
But that's older. That's once you get older. You probably didn't have liquor as a kid. Yeah, hopefully, you know, in the best case scenario. But yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't necessarily begging for any yeah, I was begging for toys when I was a little kid. You know,
I mean, but who hasn't?
1988, you know, I want that Ninja Turtle type thing. You know,
1988. You just gonna shout out the year I was born like that? Like, dang.
I mean, I was like 4, right? All right, so I'm just saying, like that would be the age that I was like, oh, mommy, yeah. You know. But you know, if okay, now, all right. Here's a question: If you could ask, your parents for anything now, and this is either parent, you know, just want to put that out there. If you could ask them for any material thing now, because we cannot allow to go deep on the question. Yeah, time is immaterial, and you know, can't go there. If you could ask them for any material thing, what would it be?
Material thing. That's hard because mom passed away a few years ago. It's going on like 5 years. I think it'll be 5 years.
Yeah.
October sometime. October 8th. I think that's the date. But as far as material things, I feel basically content. And it's, I mean, I'm not where I want to be, but I feel like do I really want, I mean, a house or a new car? Yeah, that's great, but
a house from mom or a house from dad. Give me the house.
Yeah, but I mean, then I'm thinking about like the burden that I'm putting on them.
Live. Yeah. So
I mean, my pops just came for a visit not too long ago. His first time out here, and that was great. You know, I got to bond a little bit more with him on a different level. He made a bunch of food for the household. It was me, my wife, my daughter, him, his wife, and my 2 sisters, all in the same house. So, you know, it's just like, but I got to learn some recipes and got my hair locked, and like, I feel like that's what it's more about. You know, if it was a physical thing, then plane tickets, you know, plane tickets. So I can go visit him on his side.
Or
yeah. Visit him on his side, you know, plane tickets to and from.
Plane tickets for the whole family.
The whole family. All 3 of us. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Not playing. All right. Yeah.
So what about you? You got both your parents still with us, so
I do.
Got some options.
Yeah, you know, and time is limited for both. You know, I'm putting this out there, you know, because like that is crucial to cherish each day. You know, you're not going to hear their voice forever. So if you could give me a recording of your voice, then I can hear that and I can go back to that. And, you know, I remember Tony Stark, you know, floating out there in space in that last Marvel movie. Can't think of the name of it at the moment.
There's too many.
Cool. The last one. Endgame. After Endgame. Yeah, Avengers 4. There's like the second half. Gauntlet. The second half of the movie.
Well, there's Endgame. Yeah.
Okay. So Endgame. He's floating out there in space and he's sending messages back to Pepper or whatever, you know, like that. I would love to be able to give my son my voice and my words, and I would like that from my father, you know, to have his voice and his words in some kind of digestible form, talking to me at those times of trouble, you know, which is partially why I do this. You know, I have this, you know, conviction or somewhere in my heart that's telling me that someday I'm going to be gone, and my son or daughter, you know, unborn, somewhere at some point in the future, I will have a son or a daughter, and they are going to want to know what dad was talking about, while they were still in the womb, while they were really little, when he was going through it and trying to figure things out, when he was experiencing things in a different country from where he was born. They might, go on that journey themselves. In fact, I charge you. Make a way. All right.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm thinking, like future thinking. So what I'm putting out is what I would like to get back. I would have liked to have gotten back, or while there's still time, give me what you can. Like you can't. Yeah, I know my dad writes every day, and his journals. I'd like him to turn it into a book and just write a page a day. If you write a page a day, you'll be at 365 at the end of the year. What's the problem?
Yeah. And
then you can edit it the next year or whatever, but you got a 365 page book, autobiography. Like that's good enough, right? Like there's no hold up. Yeah. There's no reason to wait until you can't type anymore, until you're starting to get senile, or until your eyes can't see. Why? Please. That's my request.
I mean, that's something that we can all do now. I mean, if we really want to pass it down, yes, audio and video are great things because the internet doesn't really die. But
it doesn't let you delete things.
Yeah, like how much more so if something tangible in your hand, you say, my father wrote this, or my mother wrote this, or somebody I'm close to that passed away wrote this. And that's just beautiful. So, I mean, going on.
I'm begging for my daddy's book. That's what I'm begging for, my daddy's book.
Going on the idea of recording and the like. Something that comes up in this chapter is actually freestyling and writing rhymes and reciting them, and the whole act of music and how it plays a role in the beautiful struggle, and how it's kind of this backbone to the knowledge. How people who never heard or who were used to a certain type of music heard Public Enemy, and how dysfunctional it was, but yet so beautiful. So I mean, going to hit to the next right here. It's called Going and Flowing.
Going and flowing. Okay.
Flowing. So I remember never being able to rhyme tight. My flow is so stagnant. Even now, I'll be in the car and I'll be like, let me spit a few bars, a little something. But it's not like real stuff. I'm more about dropping the beat. I learned to beatbox at an early age because all my cousins could flow, but I wasn't up there. So it's like, well, if I drop the beat, then I know that they're gonna flow. So I know we're gonna have something.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
That's true.
I wonder if you're leading to something, right? You're leading to something right now.
I mean, we could do a little something right now, and I don't have to drop the beat. Maybe we just go line for line, back and forth for a little bit. What do you feel about that?
I have no problem with that, but I do need to have a beat. I need to hear something.
Oh, you need a beat?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, okay, so here's the thing. When we freestyled growing up, and I didn't think anything of it in the sense that like I'm going to become a rap star or something like that, but this was our language of this is how we process things, right? If you can't get it out, then something's wrong. You need to come stronger than that. Like you need to process. This is processing, especially with, like some of my closest cousins, like we would just be in the room and just put on the beat and just, just going and going and going. Oh, you ain't got none yet? Bam. I'm gonna keep going. Another 16 bars. I'm like, okay. All right, now let me get in there. Let me get in there. You know, and then like you just listen to what somebody's saying, and then you get in. Like you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Like there's no. I'm not going to swim. You know, because like how else are you going to get things off your chest? Ain't nobody going to be sitting around like writing poetry or anything like that. You know, not as a communal thing. This is a temporal expression and meditation and stress relief. It's absolutely necessary. And like that's how we got into it. So now when, you know, people ask or you know, when the wife like, you know, plays the little music or whatever and I start flowing, she's like, why? Whoa, you should actually do something. Oh no, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do with it. This is not a commercial thing. This is how I get it off my chest. I was playing some little kanji game last night, and the kanji game had a little beat to it. I'm like, that's good enough. And I'm sitting there freestyling off this little beat by myself. And I wish somebody else was in the room, because then, you know, like you can bounce your ideas off of them and that's dope, and then get back in. But this is the core of where like jazz didn't make that up. Jazz is an expression of what we already existed. You know, you're playing like some kind of music and I don't know, what was it? Just, you know, syncopation, you know, slightly off the beat, and then you get back in, or you know, just freestyling, ad-libbing, like all of that, interpreting what you hear and then revamping it, revising it, and putting it out and making it sound better than that, battling, all of that is that's our form of expression. When I say our, I mean people who are part of the struggle in the city with skin like this, you know, and it doesn't have to be like this. It could be like whatever, you know, like I'm not, you know.
I mean, Eminem got flow. I'm just gonna put
it out. Yeah. He had his thing, but I think it's because he experienced things that were similar to what we were experiencing, you know.
Yeah.
Like that, or when I say we, I mean the vast majority of us, like not specifically you and I, you know. So that common experience and common expression there is something that still it's inside, you know. I mean, I learned how to b-boy listening to, you know, our music and then expressing it with other people in that area who were going through the same type of thing. They were trying to express themselves better. And when I came to Japan when I was 18, like 18, my friends, you know, the friends that I made were expecting me to be able to b-boy because I was black. Like that's
oh no,
oh, you're black, so you can dance too. Come on, let's go. You know, and they throw on the music, and I'm like, I don't know how to spin around on my head, you know. But it wasn't like we had to sit there and talk about it. Like they were doing it. I was like, yo, that's dope. How you do that? And then try to do the same thing back. It's really like that with freestyling, but it's an easier entry point because you already have the language. You know, you can listen and you hear the words that rhyme. So just say your thing. Go ahead. You know, take it from there. You can hear the entry point from the music. So just ride it. You know,
jump in. Yeah.
It's really that simple. But both of those things, b-boying and freestyling, do require some kind of beat. Now, I need to hear something.
Something. Really?
Yeah. That's all.
Dang.
That's all.
Oh no. I mean, I've just been matter of fact, I was on the phone with my sister earlier this week, and I don't know how it started, but we're just going line for line, you know, just rhyming the last word. You know, we might give each other a little time in between, like, okay, all right, let me think of the line. Let me formulate it. All right, this is the line. And then the next person, this is the line. So, I mean, to me, rhythm doesn't mean music. It just means something that's repetitive enough. So, I mean, this guy's over here tapping the pen already, man.
I'm just saying. It can be repetitive enough. But look, it's got to sound real tough. Cousin,
okay.
This is how we do. We own this podcast and it's coming through your ears. This is Atas, your ears. No lies. Look, you got to listen close because I'm about to get down. I might have to boast about the things that I do. Look here, cousin, this is all true. This a true story. I ain't playing around with the lorry. This is the truck. Beat bad. Riding through your hood. The tag. Ask your dads. Ask the struggle. It's about to just blow up like the bubble. 1988, 1984. Ask your boy Orville Welles how we go. How we getting down. This is dystopian. Looking outside. These things ain't utopian. Cousin. This wasn't the way that it was supposed to be. Hey, I'm passing it over to you because there's 3 lines that I'm spitting is enough for me. Hey.
Look, I already said I can't flow, man.
Acapella. No. And I can't make a beat. No. I can't make a beat and at the same time. Like that's I don't do that. That's not my thing. But I do speak English. Oh
man. I do speak English. I mean, all right. Maybe I'll do a little bit of acapella. But I get real tongue-tied real easy. That's I can't never flow, man.
What you talking?
All right. Yo, when the beat drop, watch the face drop. When the beat drop, watch the face drop. Coming through, man, never let my faith drop. Keep it cross-code church, center bass drop. Keep it... I ain't got the flow, man. I got it.
You ain't got to tell yourself you ain't got it.
I just don't know.
No, you ain't got to tell yourself that you don't have it. That's what, like with my students, we, it's like the first thing they got to say, I don't speak English. Come on. Like, we saying it. We speaking English already. Like, what do you have to tell me that you don't speak English? I wouldn't be sitting there, otherwise. Like, we're talking in the language. Go ahead. Like, don't even think about the fact that the last one didn't flow. Just you add to the next thing and make sure that it goes. Like, that's it. See what I did there? Yeah.
Going and flowing. Yeah.
Going and flowing. Yeah. So I guess we're gonna have to learn how to process. Process
a little more. Yeah.
This is expression. Yeah.
So, who was one of your favorite rappers growing up?
Jay-Z.
When
I was coming up, people were asking me, "Oh, how did you feel about Pac?" I remember after he passed, how did you feel about Pac? How did you feel about Biggie? They were good. But I wasn't following them like that until they were dead. To be honest, like mother wasn't even trying to hear none of that. Just trying to keep certain type of language out of my mouth. You and I both came up, under the same grandmother, where you couldn't even say the word lie. You couldn't say the word lie.
No, yeah, that was.
That's a bad word. All right.
Yeah.
Because fibbing. No, can't say fib. Telling
stories. Oh,
stories?
No.
What do you mean? How many stories is that? How? Yeah. So yeah. The type of language that they were using, like my mother was real, against that. My father sure didn't know about, rap or anything. Coming from West Indian background, it's just like, none of that. And so, I kind of got into hip hop rap a little bit later than some other folks, I think, from the same area, just because the message that they were putting out there wasn't what she wanted me to hear. And it wasn't like I was just going to go pick up a CD or a tape or something from somewhere just to go out of my way and listen to it. Like, oh, wow, this is what people are listening to. I don't have any friends, that are listening to this, but I know, no, I mean, the apple is not going to fall that far from the tree. Like, it's just not. But Jay, but okay, so what happened? I became cognizant of my ability to choose music after Michael Jackson, because my mother was okay with Michael Jackson. She actually took me to a concert of his.
Oh, wow.
Before that, I think she used to play some Bobby McFerrin, which is just like so innocuous. Don't worry, be happy. That's how it ended up at the wedding reception. Like, yeah, I wanted to play something that I know my mother knows off the top of my head. So like that had to be it.
That song came to mind.
Yeah, absolutely. But no bad messages there. Michael Jackson, I think it was like Space Jam around that time. It ain't too hard for me to jam. It ain't too hard for me to
Oh
jam. Yeah,
man, that one
like
goes hard.
that began that like that hearing that song. I think I listened to that song. I went out of my way to listen to that song.
Mm.
Maybe hundreds of times. Like I was that into that song, and it's just like, wow, okay. All right, what is rap? Okay, Jay-Z. And my cousin, he would say that I look like Jay-Z. I didn't realize it.
What?
Yeah. Like what? I was trying to take that as a diss or a compliment. I don't know, but like something about me reminded him of Jay-Z. So it's like, all right,
Mm.
let me hear Jay's music. And Jay's music, when you listen underneath it, it's all about like the story of progress and success.
Yeah.
Success with women, yes. Success in the rap games, yes. Success moving weight, okay. It's all about
Yeah.
it's all about success
Success.
though. He's always
Yeah.
boosting up himself and how he's getting ahead and how he made his own label. And you could hear some of that in Biggie's music too.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. So now I'm in the limelight and I rhyme tight. And like that whole section of that right there, like that's cool. That message is something that young men need to hear. How you're putting it out there and what you're advocating is something else. Hopefully you're advocating the right things. But
Yeah.
in my teenage years, like the message that Jay was putting out there was close enough and then respected enough by enough people around me, just like, all right, I can ride with Jay-Z for a while. And then you had Nas, who's like a prophet. He's considered like a
Hmm.
prophet. He wasn't, talking about like selling this and selling that, but like he was spitting that knowledge.
Yeah, more like the struggle and
Yeah,
how to get through
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I could definitely vibe with Nas. And then like later on in life, I think Jay actually introduced Lupe Fiasco, into
Okay.
like the kind of mainstream. And I got on Lupe. He was out for a while, doing his own thing kind of before that. But then like it was a very clear message that he was about things that were a little bit different. He was about anime. He was about skateboarding. He was about like that different culture. Um,
Hmm.
the message when he started putting out that message, like it was at the right timing for me to say, all right, Lupe is one of these younger guys, because Jay, I think he's like almost 50 something now. He's got a family,
It's
wife,
gotta be. Yeah.
kids, he's growing his locks and everything. Like, he moved in a direction that I was moving when I was a teenager. I was growing locks and everything, and I was, trying to do things a bit different. Not just being stuck inside this one mold of what people expect you to be. So when you ask about rappers or hip hop related artists, who were you down with? I was down with Jay, and I was down with Nas, and later on Lupe had good stuff too. But I wasn't less like a hardcore fan. You wouldn't catch me going to anybody's concert. I was bootlegging music, all right, in the sense that I was not producing bootlegs and selling them. I was getting them, from people who could provide those, either offline or online, whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
LimeWire.
FBI.
Yeah. Napster. Yeah.
I'm not putting any platforms out there,
Oh.
How about yourself?
Oh man. I feel like I got into rap even later than you did,
Mm.
because like didn't really rock with Jay-Z until like high school, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like way after he was out. Um, but I know that I used to really like Mos Def.
Mm.
And the reason I really like Mos Def is because he's not one of these dudes that are um like big up in himself, like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm better than you type thing.
Mm.
But he is talking about the struggle. He is talking about um just real stuff, and he's not doing
Mm.
a whole lot of cursing doing it, and that's one thing for me.
Mm.
So I really liked his message, and I got into a lot of what Common was
Common.
doing.
I think you
Yeah.
see Common written across my forehead. I was like, I'm gonna ask about Common. Next, I'm gonna ask him about Common.
Yo,
How's he feel about Common?
Common, because
Common.
it kind of just went that same route. Like,
Mm.
this is what it is. This is the streets. This is the struggle. This is what's real. And
Mm, mm, mm,
it was
mm,
just
mm, mm,
boom. Like early Kanye. Like I used to love that too.
mm.
I got into Snoop a little bit. Got into Ludacris a little bit. But those
Mhm.
like
They're
Common and Most Def,
entertaining.
like was like,
They were entertaining.
yeah.
Kanye,
But
yeah,
that's the real Kanye. Early Kanye,
yeah.
real. Like I heard a lot of what he was saying and was just like, okay, all right, this makes me think. And that's what I
Mm,
wanted. I want something thought provoking. It's not
yeah,
just gonna be like, oh yeah, let me regurgitate these rhymes and be cool. Like, no, I
yeah.
want like, did you hear what he just said? Like rewind that, rewind that. Yo, you gotta listen to these bars real quick. These are
Hmm,
knowledge
hmm,
right here. And sometimes they say, don't look behind the curtain, you
hmm,
know. And Ta-Nehisi actually talks about one of his heroes. And the
hmm.
section right here is going to be called From Hero to Human and Back Again.
Okay.
Now, I think that the name, again, I'm only listening to. So I
Mm.
don't know if I actually have the name here correct. Um, Athani Shakur. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I guess she was in the Black Panther Party, and
Hmm,
she was one of his heroes at the time.
hmm,
And he said that he looked up to the legend, and the legend cooked spaghetti, and thought that my little brother was funny. So
hmm,
it's like he looked behind that curtain. They say don't look behind the curtain on your heroes, but he looked behind the curtain
hmm,
from his hero, and then saw how human she was,
hmm,
and it made her legend. Like she went from hero to legend. Oh, and
hmm, hmm.
I just saw it as like, wow, that's great.
Well, that's the thing. When heroes can be honest and genuine, then I think that gives them an opportunity to, not just be distant stars in the sky somewhere, but
Mm,
they can be something to guide. They can be beacons at that point.
okay, yeah, definitely. We need
Mm-hmm.
more people of integrity in every aspect of life,
Hmm,
um, because we have so many young people looking up to whoever's
hmm,
before them.
hmm.
Whether it be a good example or a bad example.
Yeah.
Um, just remember that you always have somebody coming behind you looking at everything you do under a microscope, not because they want to, you know, not because they want to see, oh, what's the chink in their armor, but we want to
Hmm,
say, I want to be just like them.
hmm.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? I want to be
Right.
just like this person. Let me walk in their steps, and every little thing that they do, oh, they put their hat to the side like this. All right, and that's where mine's going. You
Hmm.
know, we have to be the hero for the people that are coming behind us.
You do. But then, Clark, you can be whatever you want to be. All right. That's what Superman's mom said. All right. Like they're going to worship you like a god. All right.
Mm,
And you can be everything or nothing at all. It's up to you, son. You know. Um,
mm,
and that's another thing that you kind of have to realize when you are in that position of leadership or being looked up to or um, you know having that pressure of needing to set an example. um, you don't have to do perfect every single day in your
no.
life, but as a man, it does help to look to God, look up,
Oh
and
yeah.
say that it's not me when I fall short. Okay, let them be reminded that I'm a human being.
Yeah.
But the direction that I'm going, the trajectory is not changed. You know, um, I think that what happens with a lot of people is that when they fall short, and they have all that pressure on their shoulders, and they're just looking at themselves like me. I could have done it. I can't believe it. Like it really, like that guilt consciousness or sin consciousness is what drags people down to the worst of places, not the actual falling off the horse. It's almost that pass or fail mindset. And people who are coming from behind don't know whether you have a pass or fail mindset, or you have a growth mindset. And growth mindset, and I'm quoting or paraphrasing a little bit here, but basically the way that a growth mindset works is that there's no failure, there's a result. Okay. And what you learn from your mistakes, mistake or failing at something that's like your best friend. It's going to teach you every single thing you need to know in order to succeed. And, and to become successful, you cannot stay successful for any extended period of time without failure. You cannot. Success is fleeting, but failure, that's your best friend. She's going to be right there, right by your side. Apollo 13. Do you know the error rate? That it took for that space shuttle to reach the moon. You know how many errors they had to make?
Well, I know. I'm pretty sure one completely blew up before 13, right?
Well, I mean, that goes without saying. But I mean, actually, okay, they succeeded in making it to the moon. Like in order to succeed, it took 95% errors. What that means is it's not that they had just a straight shot, like, okay, we have this whole thing figured out, computer wise, we're going to take a little left, a little right. No. You go a little too much left, a little bit too much right, bam, 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 back and forth. Oh, too much. Red zone, come back. All the way to the moon. All the way to the moon. You go somewhere that 99.999999999% of people will never go. And you doing that, making mistakes the whole way. And people don't realize it. They just think, wow, computers are amazing. Or, wow, these people are so above and beyond, No, bro. Yeah. That's error correction. You make an error, you got to fix it. But that might just take you way over here. And it's like, oh, hey, get back on camera. Right? That's what it all comes down to. That's what it all comes down to. Like, even the way that the brain works, like if the brain sees that it's going to have to put in work in order to accomplish some new task, instead of just, I'm just going to, create some new brain matter and new, pathways that's going to make that easy. No, I'm just going to send this guy some whatever hormone that's going to make him just relax and not feel like doing that. Make him tired. Then I ain't got to work. That's so much easier than I got to send all kinds of resources to the body. And then I just make him feel like he doesn't want to do this. Sure. And that's one step. The brain is smart. Okay. The brain is smart.
Too smart.
Yeah. But then once you tell your brain, every day repetitively, this is the direction that we want to go with this thing. This is the direction, no matter what. Then your brain just says, all right, well, I'm going to give you just enough resources in order to pull that off. Not more than you need. I'm going to give you just enough. All right. But then you push the envelope just a little bit more and keep pushing and keep pushing play. And that's how you get there. All right. That's how you get there.
I'm reminded of Paul and what he writes. He says, imitate me as I imitate Christ. And that's just hearkening back to, we have people behind us, that are looking at us and we're going forward. And also, he writes, the good that I wish to do, I do not do. And the bad that I wish not to do, I do. And he goes forward with that thought saying, I die daily. This is a daily decision that I have to consciously make to surrender myself to God.
all day long.
It's not about me. It's
Mm.
outside of myself. I'm not the
Mm.
most important. You
Mhm.
know, so that's how we can truly help those who are behind us. Like, hey, you know what? I made these decisions every day, you know, and it's outside of me. It's
Mhm.
bigger than me, you know, because it's encompassing you.
Mm.
So now you can go forward knowing my mistakes and my foreknowledge so that you don't fall into the same.
There you go. There you go. There you
I
go.
mean, we don't have too much time here. I mean, I
Right.
have like so many topics here.
Well, we
I'm
got
just scrolling through them.
we got a Friday. We do have a Friday.
Okay.
So
Um.
yeah,
All right.
you know that is
So
the. Hmm.
we gonna end with this one. We're gonna end with this one
Okay.
because we were
Okay.
talking about it a little bit last week. This section entitled "Daps, Hugs, and Shoulder Shrugs."
Okay.
Daps, hugs, and shoulder shrugs.
Bring
Now,
us into that.
I don't know where I heard it, but it was this guy talking about the nod.
Mm.
You know, and I know that we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Because you said that even in Japan, you still find yourself doing it. So
Must.
just like you see someone black, and you know in your heart that you gotta.
Yeah.
That's it. Just every fiber of
our
my
listeners
being.
our listeners might not know what you just did, but he just
Oh yeah,
flicked his head
yeah.
back. He flicked his head back
You got it.
and lifted
The
his chin.
nod. Just
Yeah.
the
And
nod.
you don't. You feel like it might be a serious problem.
It might go down.
It might have to go down. Yeah.
So I mean, growing up, it was like, what was it? Oh, if you dap somebody up with the right hand, then everything's cool. But if you dap them with the left hand, then you just gonna let him fam you like that?
You got
Yo,
fammed.
you just got fammed like that? Like what is fammed? What does that
What
even
is
mean?
famming? Right.
Yo, I am famished, but I don't know what famming is. Like
I should ask Urban Dictionary about that one. But that just means disrespect, right? You've been
I
disrespected,
would
but why is it
think
called fam?
so. Yeah, why famming? Because it sounds
Etymology.
like family. Like it sounds more like it would be a good thing rather than a bad. But I don't know.
Yeah.
So
visit the fam. No, no.
visit the
That's the wrong one.
got fammed. I guess FAMMED.
Oh, FAMM? No. Huh?
MM. Yeah, because if you just put
You'll find fam, yeah. As in family.
I would say fammed like as a past tense, and maybe you might find it a little easier.
FAMMED? Oh,
yeah, because you don't want to put famed.
Right.
He famed you.
Famed, to be destroyed, humiliated, or exhausted.
Jeez, that sounds horrible.
The end result of a vicious beating, or to be killed or fragged with little or no effort.
Oh my
That sounds a
goodness.
little different. Online game, people use that now?
I've never heard. I've never heard.
Somebody posted a ridiculous comment on this page, and then the response. My response was to fam them. Okay, so there's a fam.
Oh gosh, fam. That's
maybe.
Is it originally a?
Where did it come from? Why are we saying fam? Well,
yeah,
that's a great question.
It's pretty
there
serious.
are a few words like that in English that start off with a positive connotation and then they just get flipped completely. Like the word terror. It's bad, right? Terror.
Yeah.
All right. And so we have this adjective that comes from that. Terrible. Very bad. Terrible, horrible. Both very negative things. Terrible. But terrific. It's great.
Terrific.
What? Wait,
true.
Terror?
Too true.
Terrific? Terror, terrible, terrific. Okay. How about horror? Horrible.
Horrific.
Horrific? Yeah. Horrific. Is that a good thing? No, it's not.
No, definitely
Try to
not.
be an English teacher. Try to be an English teacher and explain this madness. But Japanese do the same thing. Sugoi. Sugoi. You know sugoi. You've heard it. Right? Sugoi and hidoi. Hidoi is still bad. Hidoi is bad. It's terrible. It's the same thing. Sugoi used to mean horrible, or used to mean hidoi, like the same thing.
What?
Yeah. But somehow everything is
sugoi is awesome.
Amazing, awesome. Yeah. Why?
So what about awesome?
What?
Awesome.
Awesome.
You have awesome without the E, like AWSOME. Then you have awesome with an E, AWESOME.
That's the only one I know.
Basically both the same.
I didn't know the other
right?
one. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then you have awful. But
there you go.
Awful now means something horrific, terrible.
Right.
But it used to mean full of awe.
Full of awe.
Full of awe. Like, my goodness, this is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's
awful is really bad.
Awful.
Awesome. Awesome is good enough, right?
Oh no.
What?
It's too much. Too much.
Awless. Yeah.
Oh man.
Awless doesn't exist, but yeah.
Awesome.
Awless, awesome, and awful. Yeah, you got careless, careful, right? Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Wow. Yeah. English is crazy.
Caresome, burdensome. All right. I can get into that. I can get into that easy, but
all day. Yeah. So daps, hugs, and shoulder shrugs.
Yeah.
So just we got like maybe a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So like this whole interaction that we have with just people in general,
Right.
Ta-Nehisi does talk about this a little bit in this chapter about how this kind of rival class came up to basically fight them, and he threw a few punches, and then it was over.
Right.
And then they went on their 8th grade field trip.
Yeah.
And here comes the rival class running over, and it's like, whoa, we thought we squashed the beef. We thought we, it was like, okay, we're gonna have mutual respect for each other. They're running over them, hauling, and then everybody is on Ta-Nehisi's side is getting a little tense, like, okay, all right, it's about to go down. I guess we couldn't escape this. And it comes to the fact that they both meet, like both classes meet, and they're just there to give them dap. Like, hey, we saw you from across the way, so we ran over here, and we just want to, say what's up.
Show respect. Say what's up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and it's. Go ahead.
That reminds me of one important quote that stuck in my mind. And I was thinking about this the other day about when you're a young guy coming up and you're looking for not just father figures, but you're looking for something to hold on to. Oboreru mono wa wara mo tsukamu, like people who are going to drown will even grab onto straw if they can.
Okay.
So one thing that I held on to, and I don't think it was straw, but it was this idea that you have to go 13 rounds with someone to know that they are your boy. Like they really got your back. Like you got to fight them. You got to fight in order to know that they're with you, and that they're genuine, solid, jolid. Yeah.
Jolid. Yeah. There you go. Jolid.
Yeah. And that was a thing. So I could see how, two classes that may have fought would suddenly have respect for each other. That's something that's like male bonding that you got to get down in the dirt and, because something about you is I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy, and but if you fight it out, and do a fair one, then maybe, you get to know him. Oh, he's not so bad.
Leave everything on the mat. Yeah.
Leave everything on the mat. And that's what Ta-Nehisi, he mentioned that his father, when he was coming up, it was more like it could be a whole gang of folks. You could just yell, "Fair one."
Fair one. Yeah.
Right? You have a fair one, and then you do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it's like you see less and less of that nowadays. And I don't know how young people will know who really has your back. Like, you know, if and maybe there aren't so many violent confrontations. Well, no, it would be nice if there weren't so many violent confrontations.
There you go.
But people are still getting bullied, whatever, you know, behind the scenes. And, you know, it may not come to violence, but if it doesn't come to violence, then it stays underground, or there's some other kind of oppression that people are either, you know, you're either oppressing somebody or you're running from oppression. Like, you know, that person who can stand in the middle ground and just be neutral and not be oppressed by others. And, you know, it's hard to find for young people in, you know, who are experiencing the struggle.
Yeah,
it is. Those people are, you know, people that keep their mouths shut and just do their own thing, and they're really focused on whatever. In school, you're supposed to be focused on learning, right? Yeah. You know, those types of people, like, if they're not built a certain way, or if they don't act a certain way, or basically satisfy certain social cues, they're gonna get picked on. All right. Sure. And like, they need their allies. And if they don't have allies, you know, they're gonna have a real hard time, you know. Yeah, and that's the reality.
So it's kind of like fraternity built on the battlefield type thing, you know. Mm-hmm. We've been through it, you know. I've tested your metal type thing, and I know that you're a real one. I hope it doesn't have to happen that way for everybody. Maybe you can just get a mutual bond, and you know, say, hey, you know, this is a real person. You know, they tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. Mm-hmm. But for those who do have to, you know, knock it out, and hey, you know, no shame.
Yeah, definitely. Wait, the thing is, and this isn't for the other person; it's for yourself. All right. I mean, the other person may get something from it, but when you sacrifice time and skin and sweat for someone else, or in your interaction with someone else, you feel closer to them. You feel that bond, whatever relationship that you have, is deeper. If you don't put in the effort and the time and whatever, then you're really not going to feel close. You can, you know, be in that person's presence all you want, but if you don't turn off the TV, for example, you don't turn off the TV and, you know, I say, all right, let's spend some time. I want to know what's going on with you. You know, like, let's sort this out. You know, what's going on in your day? That's a way for a man to interact with his children or with his wife, whatever. But yeah, I mean, as far as friends, I got a very few, you know, couple that contact me, you know, what's going on with you? Like, I'm not gonna send you a message online. No, I'll send you a message to call and say, what's going on with you? You know, and like, consistently, even though I may have like a defensive thing up, or just like, no, I'm cool, you know, or what up, chilling. That's it. You know, no, what do you mean chilling? You know, all right, you're gonna go to the next level. You're gonna actually dig a little deeper. I don't have a defense for that, because most people are fake. Most people are not fake. Most people are surface level. Yeah, they want to feel that they have your alliance. They have an alliance with you, but they don't want to devote any time to it. And guess what? I ain't about them. Look, if you think that we're friends just because we're on Facebook and we don't ever talk, we're not close. All right, we don't have a thing. All right. If you spend some time listening to what we're talking about right here, that means you've devoted some time, and I can appreciate that. But you will appreciate it even more than I do, because I won't realize how much that you've invested. When you invest something in yourself in someone else, then you yourself are getting the most out of it, because you'll think that you have something with that person. All right. And that will lead you to do more things. So a lot of women have figured this out. And what happens is they'll ask you to do things. Like, when you just give something to your wife, like, oh, baby, this is for you. Or no. I mean, that might make you feel like you've devoted something to her. That's good. But when she asks you to do something and it's like something you didn't really want to do, and then you did it anyway, you are convincing yourself through those actions that you must really love this person. And a lot of women know that. And they know that.
No.
Yes.
It's a trap.
Yeah. It is a trap. It's a psychological trap. They are making you convince yourself that you must love them. Because as you're doing the thing, you're carrying this heavy thing. It's like, man, I must really love this one. Like, you're telling your brain that. You're sending a message to your own self. All right. You're doing something that you didn't really want to do. You're putting in that time. And that's how I start getting hot at the last minute of this podcast.
No. All right. So before you come like a tea kettle and start, we're gonna end for today. This has been Atas, Across Time and Space. Join us next week on TPC's TPC Japan channel.
Yes.
The link is in the description. You may have to copy and paste, but it is definitely there. You'll also be able to see link for the book and link to the first episode, which happens to be on Facebook. If you want to drop a comment, we appreciate it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Thumbs up, thumbs down. It all helps.
It definitely does.
Until next time, stay prayed up and be blessed.
Because that's what it is. Peace.
Peace.